You're walking through Walgreens, you're thinking, hey, I need something fun to do with my kids at home. So you say, you know what, I'm gonna buy a food allergy test for $8. You know what, that little $8 test at Walgreens could cost you $8,500 in attorney's fees and tens of thousands more for your own attorney. I want to talk to you about the case of Bauer v. Waidelich. Just came out this year. There was a gentleman who did not have joint legal custody. He bought one of those tests during COVID. Thought he was going to use it to have some fun with his kids. 3+ years later, he pricks his child's finger, does this food allergy test, and was found in contempt of court. I'm Jim Kraayeveld, founding attorney at Kraayeveld Family Law. I've been doing this for 30 years, and the importance of legal custody is something I want to talk to you about today based on this case that came out. In this case, Bauer v. Waidelich, the mother pursued contempt of court charges against the father, her ex-husband, for having caused one of the kids to miss 17 days of school. The court said, no, you acquiesced in that. Then she went after him to say, well, you had them tested for food allergies, which is the Walgreens test. And then there was an incident where she wanted to find him in contempt of court of some other things. Seemed to have an agenda that she wanted to pursue him. But the Court of Appeals, or the trial court, said, no, we're not finding him in contempt of court on anything but the pricking of the finger and the food allergy test on this one child. That went to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals said, no, this is civil contempt. It wasn't criminal contempt, but it was civil contempt. And yes, the attorney's fees was not an attorney's fees award, but it was part of the sanctions for this gentleman making a medical decision without consulting with the mom who had sole legal custody. Now, this dad had lost his joint legal custody rights 5 years earlier. So when mom was the only one with legal custody, he didn't even have the right to do a fun game. And when he went to the court, he testified, we did this out of curiosity. It was fun. He didn't use it for any purpose to get any medical treatment, but he was still found to have violated legal custody, which was solely in the hands of mom from what this court had done 5 years earlier. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you don't have joint legal custody, you don't get to make decisions about schooling, you don't get to make decisions about medical care, and it can cost you severely. Not only did this gentleman find himself reading a court order that found him liable to pay the $8,500 to his ex-wife for some of her attorney's fees, he probably spent more than that on his own attorney at the trial court because it was a 3-day evidentiary hearing. And then when the parties appealed this to the Court of Appeals, they probably spent even more. So a very, very valuable lesson. If you don't have joint legal custody, you could have issues. Now, a caveat to all of this, the case was an unpublished case. So published cases are ones that are having binding effect, and they set precedent for all of the state, for all of the judges to follow. But if this were to come up again in any trial court, in any county in our state, judges can take this to be advisory or a good strong suggestion of how the Court of Appeals panels will actually decide an issue like this. So be careful with that. Now, if you found this to be helpful, or you know someone that would be helpful, please like this video. Subscribe if you want to follow us. We have additional videos where I really go in and explain what legal custody is and what it's not, and how it can impact your life if you don't have it. Again, if you ever have a question, please feel free to contact our office, kraayeveld.com, or call us. We try to get back to folks within 1 day. That's our promise. And we will at least give you options, tell you what your rights are, and at least hopefully point out what the concern is if you don't have or do have joint legal custody. Until next time.